Hello, everyone. This is Shambhavi. Welcome to another episode of Insights with Mind Aid Therapist. So, in our Q&As, we had asked you about difficult emotions and how to deal with them. So, today we'll talk about emotions, why do they exist, and how to handle them when they get out of control.
Hello everyone, my name is Mansi and I'm a clinical psychologist. Hoping you all are well and keeping safe. So just want to let you know that today we'll be talking about these topics in brief, and if you think you need help on a more individual level, feel free to reach out to us on our website mindaidtherapist.com, as we provide therapy at a very affordable price.
So, without wasting any more time, let's get straight to it. Mansi, would you like to tell us more about emotions? Why do we feel them and what is their function?
Right. So, emotions are basically signals within your body that tell you what is happening. For example, when you experience something pleasurable, you feel good. And when you experience something disturbing, you feel bad. So, in many ways, emotions are like these instant news service that gives you constant updates about what you're doing or what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. But sometimes, when we start to experience a lot of emotions at one time, or the emotions are very intense, then they can easily make us feel overwhelmed. And that is when emotional regulation skills come in handy. But before we get into that, we need to understand why emotions are important. And there are many reasons. One, they are really important for your survival, because for example, if we don't feel fear at all, then we would be every day, walk, like doing things that are very risky for our life, like walking straight into the traffic. Emotions help us remember people and situations. They help us cope with things in our daily life. They also help us communicate with others, avoid pain, and seek pleasure. So emotions aren't all that bad, right? But what happens when you experience really painful emotions, like after a breakup or having a fight with someone? It gets too much. And we often don't know how to handle these feelings in a healthy way. And we sometimes tend to resort to a lot of unhealthy coping mechanisms, like avoiding these emotions or scrolling through social media aimlessly, or drinking or smoking, or lashing out on others. So that is when something called as distress tolerance and emotional regulation helps us. So distress tolerance means improving our awareness and tolerance of painful emotions. So Shambhavi, can you tell us a little more about this?
Yeah, sure. So, emotional experiences are primary and secondary. Primary emotions are your current emotions. That means how you feel in the present moment. On the other hand, secondary emotions are your evaluations about your primary emotions. So, let me explain this by an example. So, let's assume that you're watching news, which many of us do these days, and you suddenly start feeling scared when you watch news related to COVID 19. And then you feel helpless or angry about being not able to do anything. So, your primary emotion is being scared, and being helpless or angry is an evaluation about your primary emotion, which is being scared. So, how to deal with such a complex emotional experience? So, first of all, start with your primary emotion, because usually secondary emotions give rise to dysfunctional thinking patterns or unhelpful coping strategies. So, when we address primary emotions, it is very important for us to acknowledge how we are feeling. So, here we acknowledge that we're feeling scared. You have to accept that it's okay to feel scared at such times. You can explore how anxiety or fear feels. So, for example, your heart might start racing, or you might feel a little breathless. So here what you're doing is you're becoming more aware towards your emotions. Along with it, you're having radical acceptance towards your primary emotions, which is being scared. So I hope that answers your question, Mansi.
Yeah, so that means what you're trying to say is that if we improve our awareness of our emotions, like basically the first reaction or the primary emotion, then
Right.
we will be able to adopt a more non-judgmental way of looking at it rather than, judging ourselves for having that feeling.
Right,
So then that just makes it a lot easier to process it, I guess.
right,
Yeah,
right,
that
absolutely.
makes sense. Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of our emotions, we can start with our questions from our audience. So first question is for you, Shambhavi. How do we deal with the anxiety of dealing with any situation?
All right. So the only way to deal with anxiety of facing a situation, I know this might sound a bit harsh, but is to face the situation. So a lot of people try to avoid the situation, which might work temporarily, but not in long term. What happens is it just decreases your tolerance and increases your anxiety. So if you try to flee from an anxiety provoking situation, what your brain does is it learns that this situation is more dangerous, and it gets more anxious the next time you try to get into such situations. On the other hand, if a person learns to stay in the anxiety provoking situation, the brain learns that it can tolerate the situation. So anxiety gradually goes down. So what we're doing here is we are habituating ourselves to get into anxiety provoking situations. So you don't have to be very harsh on yourself here. Start with 10 minutes. Try to expose yourself to anxiety provoking situations and gradually increase the time. So if you're able to withstand 10 minutes, then next time go for 15 and then 20. So what will happen is your brain and body both, they will get used to being in anxiety provoking situations, and gradually your anxiety will start reducing. All right, so the next question for Mansi is how to deal with anger leading to verbal diarrhea and then regret and agony.
Right. So I think most of us can relate to this. And it's okay to be angry from time to time. But if it's happening a lot and it's leading to, like the unhealthy coping or flashing out on others, or you end up saying a lot of things that you regret later, then here are a few things that you can try. First, identify what triggers your anger. For a week, just work on noticing these triggers and also your interpretations of these situations. So basically this means that situations by themselves don't cause your emotions. How you interpret or what meaning you give to that situation, how you think about the situation, leads to your emotions. So you need to also be a little more aware of your thoughts. uh, if the anger is too much, you can try this. So this technique is called the stop technique. It means that first step is you stop. S stands for stop. um, T stands for take a step back. O stands for observe. So basically, you observe what is happening, what are you thinking, what are you feeling. And P stands for proceed. So stop, take a step back, observe, and then proceed. So doing this will give you a chance to choose your response. Next, remember that anger only hurts you more than anyone else. So you focus on what is in your control, and also focus on not taking everything personally, so that you are able to choose what you want to say in a more calm manner rather than saying it out of anger. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, these
And
are very helpful tips when it comes to anger management.
right, so next question is for you, Shambhavi. I don't know how to deal with other stress when I'm already so overwhelmed with my problems. Who can relate to this better than us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can give you a few tips that might work when it comes to dealing with others when you yourself are in a lot of stress. So number one is you have to be assertive and make the other person understand how you're feeling. Let the other person know that their behavior is counterproductive and it's giving you a lot of stress. Number two is you have to separate yourself from the event or the person. So you can start doing this by keeping distance between others' emotions and yours. For anyone working in a very emotionally challenging field like social work, mental health, or healthcare, it's very important that we distance our emotions from other people's emotions. It prevents burnouts in future. So emotional distancing, remember, emotional distancing doesn't make you less caring. It just prevents the potential of the future burnout. Number three is uh, don't take everything personally. Taking events personally is the biggest drivers of stress. When you take everything personally, it means that everything that happens around you is your responsibility. So it gets the ego in it, and then it triggers a lot of irrational emotions. So, in case of secondhand stress, the art is to understand the person and the reason behind the person's behavior rather than taking things personally. So, here, what you can do is you can try to empathize that why is that person behaving in such a way rather than just taking it personally and reacting to it. So, being more empathetic can help you to prevent stress that happens because of the communication issues that you face. Number four is stop mirroring negative emotions. So you don't have to support everything that the other person says. And you can do it with a small trick, like, you can show positive body language or you can change the topic. So what you're doing here is you're trying to distract the other person from his own negative emotions. So you're also stopping yourself from mirroring his negative emotions here. I hope this answers your question.
Definitely.
All right, so we'll proceed to the last question. I try to stay calm when I'm angry, but it doesn't work. And how do I deal with it?
Right. So the thing with anger is that um, anger is just a mask very often. Imagine, like, anger is like an iceberg, and you just see the tip of the iceberg, that is the anger. But under the water, there are a lot of other emotions that usually are behind the anger, like hurt or disappointment or helplessness. So, for you to be able to deal better with anger, you need to first recognize and acknowledge what other feelings lie behind your anger, and find out reasons for them. Second, instead of trying to stay calm, practice this. Um, First, label your emotion or label whatever you're feeling, like, right now I am feeling angry. And then practice letting the feeling pass instead of struggling with, stopping that feeling or avoiding it. Notice where you're feeling it in your body and make some space for it and validate that emotion, that it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel this way. Now, if the anger is too much, then you can practice some self soothing techniques, like a cold shower or splashing water on your face, listening to some relaxing music, and also something called as half smiling. So half smiling is like kind of the opposite, facial expression of anger. So that sends a different signal to your brain telling you that you are like not feeling angry anymore. So that can also help reducing that anger. um, and lastly, this is something that you can practice in the long term, that is called as assertive anger. So which means that you can feel angry but choose not to act on it. So basically, if you want to let someone know that you're angry, or you want to communicate that feeling, then instead of communicating it out of anger, practice saying that in a calm and firm manner. that whatever you are saying or whatever you did was hurtful, and that is why I am feeling blah blah blah, whatever that you were feeling at the time. So basically, when you're feeling angry, you can also remove yourself from the situation temporarily, letting the person know that, right now it's not it's too overwhelming for me to talk, so we can talk when I am calmer. And then when you're feeling a little better, you can communicate whatever you were feeling at the time. And the more you practice this in situations that are less intense, the more skilled you will become to practice this in intense situations. So I hope that answers your question. And with that, we come to the end of our Q&A and today's discussion about emotions. We really hope you find this useful, but please note that the answers that we gave today were generic. And if you need more specific help, then please feel free to reach out to us on our Instagram, or you can also reach out to us on our website, mindaidtherapist.com.
Thank you for listening, guys, and we hope you find it useful. Take care and be safe.
Bye.
Bye.